These days, it isn't uncommon for modern rappers to be hit with the allegation that their aesthetic has more time and curation put into it than their actual music. While not necessarily being a new topic, I've definitely heard the talking point a lot more lately. Without a doubt, the first artist that comes to mind for me is Destroy Lonely with his recent If Looks Could Kill project, where many fans argue the aesthetic and direction of the music videos and all that stuff didn't live up to the actual music. While definitely not as big as an offender, the red-hot underground sensation Osama Sun has also been hit with the same allegation. Now, how crazy would it be if I told you the vision of these two projects came from the mind of the same man? In this video, I'm going to briefly touch on who Michelangelo, aka Stunmic, is. His origins, his style, his controversies, and everything above. Let's get into it. So to start off, I'm just going to cover who Michelangelo is just, a bit briefly. The creative seems to have roots in New York, although of course he travels frequently to cities like LA, Atlanta, etc. As for what Michael actually does, it's very comparable to Joy Division of the Opium/Cardi camp. Michael is a videographer, director, clothing brand owner, designer, basically a lot of terms that can't fit under one umbrella, so we'll just go with creative. I probably could find his age and, where he's from and all that stuff, but honestly, it's not that important to what I'm going to cover, so I'm just going to leave that be. The really only significant takeaway from Michael's origins is the fact that he used to design under Ian Connor. Ian Connor, of course, having a myriad of titles to his name, some less favorable than others. Funnily enough, during Michael's time under Ian, he did beef with some other designers over designs and stuff like that, which I guess was foreshadowing, as we'll see later. But as for now, let's just hop into his style, influences, etc. So Stunmic is most known for his rollout of the If Looks Could Kill album by Destroy Lonely. As was mentioned earlier, although If Looks Could Kill remains to be a controversial album due to the album's quality of music, the same cannot be said for the aesthetic. If you didn't already know, the entire aesthetic of the rollout is inspired by the 90s horror franchise I Know What You Did Last Summer. Drawing inspiration from this, an entire persona for the album was created, known as The Look Killer, who was of course portrayed by Destroy Lonely. And there was also a short film, the cover art, the merch, basically just creating an entire aesthetic, persona, and aura, I guess you could say, for the album. So as I'll be showing on screen, all the cool creative designs are done by Michelangelo himself. However, there is a catch to his design style. So heading to Michael's Instagram, you can see 4 accounts tagged, but only 3 are really relevant. The clothing page for his brand Rehab, his spam where he frequently posts his work, his reworks, and then a more official page for cover art for videography. His contributions mostly take inspiration from late 2000s and 2010s culture. Think Tumblr culture, general online culture like MySpace, the old iPhones, stuff like that. Thanks to this style, which I should mention is not his, but I will admit can be attributed to him, he's created his own wave, I guess you could say. So for example, 2 very simple examples of what I mean by this are his Rehab Star Hip Hop logo, which of course parodies World Star Hip Hop, basically to bring back the vibes of the 2010s culture, internet culture, stuff like that. And also you can see either rehab.com or rehabcam on some of the videos. And for those who don't know, rehabcam is of course a parody of Bandicam, an old recording software used in early YouTube, just early internet in general. So that basically encapsulates his aesthetic. I could definitely dive into it deeper, but in reality, it isn't that crazy or deep. It is very cool and creative in my opinion. And to finish this off, it should be noted, Stunmic has recorded and done videography for the likes of course, Osama Sun, Netspin, Destroy Lonely, and Fresh Boy Swag. So with that, I'm going to dive into probably the most important part, or interesting, you could say, part of the video, all his controversies and what I personally think about them. So as you guys know, in the underground scene, in the scene that we love, there are a lot of egos. And like, this is no writing, by the way. This is not glazing. But I'm just gonna be honest. Stunmic is 1 year. Well, we're the same age, right? And he has accomplished a lot at that age. So I'm gonna be honest. I would be pretty cocky too. Shot for huge artists. Every underground rapper wants to wear your brand. I mean, it's impressive, right? Before he's even 20. However, I'm gonna be honest. This first section of controversy is pretty irredeemable. So the late 2000s, early 2010s, like, VHS, old aesthetic, right? With the World Star logo, right? You guys understand. It's kind of hard to explain because Stunmic himself has to know that he didn't popularize that or create that. Like, vintage, old, going back has been a thing literally forever. It kind of seems that way, but also it could be interpreted as he is bringing it back and then people are doing it and copying him, even though he's copying someone else. So let me explain. Underground rappers Tana, formerly Baby Santana, and Che, formerly Che Romani, have both used a similar aesthetic. Tana was getting a lot of backlash online for like having a bit of a Young Thug fetish. He was basically replicating every single detail about Young Thug. The same outfit he wore, basically the same preset, the same vocal inflections, all that, right? And then that also, I believe he made like a Vine or something, and like that same like early 2010s aesthetic, right? And then Che made like a snippet or a preview video or something with a College Kid logo. And for those of you who don't know, College Kid is just very similar to World Star. You used to always see their videos on YouTube covering rap stuff, you get the point. So Stunmic accused their camps of stealing his aesthetic and called them biters and said that they'd be lost without him. Like, yeah, making the argument that you repopularized it is okay, but I mean, taking a concept that isn't yours and then trying to make it out as if people are biting you and only you, it's a weird argument, to say the least. And also, I was trying to give him credit, but I mean, as you can probably assume, I don't have exact ads or like names or whatever, but you can, like, we all know he's not the first person to try and replicate this aesthetic. There's probably lesser known people than him who did it first, who we just don't know. And then the other big thing, the Osama Sun merch controversy. Not gonna harp on this. Basically, Osama Sun and his camp previewed merch, shipped it out, it didn't look the same. What's up, guys? I'm actually reshooting this right now, so I just wanted to get all the facts straight. This is Mike's, this is his take, this is his stance. I'm not misinterpreting him at all. Mike's argument is that he's the designer, and that's it, solely the designer. Although he is a part of Osama Sun's team overall, he's just basically claiming innocence in terms to messing up the distribution and product quality, and yeah. Now, I'm going to leave my take out of this, but the general conflict with the statement is people are like, bro, you are literally very close, you're on his team, you're his videographer, you're his creative. Why does nobody know about this? But because of his position as him being innocent, he isn't really, or I guess he feels like he doesn't really have to offer anybody a solution to the messed up merch. So I'm not really sure where we go from here, but yeah, that's the conflict. Is Mike responsible? Is he lying? I mean, who really knows? I surely don't. But yeah, that's how the situation is for now. So overall, what does this all say about Michael Stunmic? Definitely an interesting guy. Definitely someone who can probably have a future for a long time doing this videography thing. The behind the scenes, the guys, you wouldn't even think about it, but usually they last longer than the actual rappers, funnily enough. But I mean, the ego stuff, man, I mean, we've seen so many careers go down the gutter because of that foolishness. I mean, he has to check it, eventually, But I mean, a lot of these guys like surrounding themselves with yes men, so it isn't really crazy to think about. But overall, I think his art, his direction, his clothes are all very cool, dope. His aesthetic is cool, all that. And overall, as an observer, all I can really hope is that he keeps on evolving. He does more cool shit. So that'll be all for today. This is Token Black Kid covering Michelangelo, aka Stunmic, and who he is and his career. So tune in for the next video next time I upload. Thank you.